This is I Rock with Rockstars, hosted by Ryan from iRock 93.5.
All right, well, my first question has to be, are you going to have a little TV up on stage tonight so you can watch the football game?
No, but I know one of us will have an iPad at the guitar tech stand watching it. Yeah.
All right. Well, from Detroit, I mean, I know you're Lions fan and all Detroit sports fan. I will admit, you can end the interview right now if you want. I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm a Packers fan.
It's understandable as long as you know that you're going to lose. But it's all, it's what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. Well, I mean, how do you, we just talked that you are just going out on this tour. Obviously, you're out on the road a lot. Mm-hmm. I mean, how do you balance those other things in life, sports, drinking wine with the missus, whatever it might be, and hitting the road for weeks and weeks upon end?
It's a balance, but we just had a couple months off for the summer, and we did a bunch of heavy touring in the winter and the spring, and we had a couple months off in the summer, and now we got a heavy load from here till basically December. So that time off was nice to be able to, personally, I just bought a house, so being able to fix the backyard up and work on this old house with my girlfriend's been great, and to step away and be myself for a minute. But while on the road, just having off days and being able to go find trading card stores, or this weekend we're trying to hit a movie, or just to have those feel like a normal person.
Right.
Because when you're living on the road, it's like you're sharing a 100 square foot apartment with 7 other dudes. It gets a lot.
It's a lot. I'm sure, yes. You're not sucking back the liquid death as much when you're fixing up the house. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm sure you want to when you're just like, oh my, especially if it's an older house.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Every time you move something else comes around, right?
Exactly. It's never ending, but it's fun. I love it.
It is fun. All right, well, let's talk music. I mean, let's just dive right into that. I mean, it seems like you. Oh, I sure will. It feels like you guys have been around for so long, but you haven't. I mean, to us, the listener, it's just kind of like, man, it's been this long, but they don't seem like, wow, they're kind of a new band. But you're just going, man.
I feel like we're in that. This December will be 9 years, and I feel like we're just in that middle ground of we're starting to get the swing, getting the hang of things of knowing what it's like to be on the road for ever, and getting crazy things thrown at you just because we've experienced it all. But I think that's what you just said. I think that's just a compliment, because when we started off strong, and we already had got a big group of fans right off the rip, and had a bunch of love from stations right off the rip. So it wasn't like we were behind the scenes, or we were touring in a van and just grinding for years and years and years and years, and just finally hit it. I think we got lucky right off the rip, and just had a straight up climb from the start. So it does feel like we've been around for a long time, but yeah, man, 9 years. It's kind of hard to you think high school, you're graduating senior. That's you enter in 6th grade. You know what I mean? Just to put things in perspective, it's weird to look back at some of the things we did when we were just kids. But yeah, man, it's been a fun almost decade. Decade.
I mean, obviously a decade. You've got plenty more decades to go.
Thank you.
I mean, where you are in the first 9 years and 29 years from now, I know I'm jumping all over the place here, but 29 years from now, when everyone here at the show tonight, or whatever it is, fans that are listening on whatever they're listening to it on, what do you hope that they remember 29 years from now? Is there a song, a feel? Because music is just so different the way it's consumed today.
Yeah,
it's singles, and it's Spotify, it's not radio, but I understand that stuff exists,
Right.
But it's it's consumed in that way. It's not as much the albums and vinyls and stuff like that. So do you hope, that hope, I would imagine, for you in 29 years, that super fan still has that CD or that vinyl still?
Yeah, man, I'm a collector of things, and vinyl is one of them, and I hope that we have those fans that have been around for enough, been along the ride, to have every record we put out, the physical stuff, because I think that's just something different. It's not just listening to music, it's having that little piece of art in your house. And same with records. For me, that's what it is, having a big collection and having some displayed on your house, so you're just, instead of just popping up Spotify, to go through the ritual of pulling out a record, put it on the on the player, having it hooked up to your speakers, and just, when it gets halfway through, flipping it over, putting it. It's like there's you're doing more work for it and listening to it. So to have fans that go through ride with us, and then on top of that, instead of just coming out to the shows and throwing whatever playlist we're on, have a song or two on, to sit down and just listen to a full record, that would be awesome if we had, our fans just kept doing that through the decades.
Yeah, those albums that I'm sure you're the same. Like if I asked you, pick that album that you're just like, I can picture the cover, I can put it on, and I can go track 1 through 13 and just all of it. That's got to be what you inspire for.
Absolutely, to have records that, no matter what we release, how we release it, records, EPs, singles, whatever, is just hoping that our fans see it for the bigger picture. And it's a challenge, but it's a fun challenge to write things that can be taken just as a call it like piece of candy. You can just pick it up and you listen to it and enjoy it, but then to be able to put it back and listen to it in a full piece of art the way we originally intended on. That's just hope our fans continue to do that, because that's something special that I feel like gets lost on the newer generation of like TikTok and 15 seconds of fame and putting out a song and just pushing that song, and it just goes by the wayside. It's like nothing wrong with that, but I'd rather our fans be the ones that can digest it and live with it and grow that have that attachment to something like that.
Yeah, long haul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because it's that 15 seconds and on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But you want Hurricane and Bad Things to be something that in 29 years people will be like, yeah, man, I remember where I was, what I was doing.
Right.
And yeah,
absolutely.
So what did you grow up on? 80s, 90s? Like, what was your growing up music?
So I went to a private school until 8th grade. And when I switched over in the 8th grade, I met a friend who I just listened to what my parents listened to, and then whatever was on the radio that was like NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Hansons, and all that. But
NSYNC's back.
Yes, hell yeah. But I remember, my dad listening to like Led Zeppelin, Van Halen, David Lee Roth, and Sammy Hagar, and things like Prince and Jethro Tull. I think that really developed my taste. But once my friend first gave me the Ride the Lightning record, I was a metalhead. After that, that was it, man.
It switched. Huh?
Oh yeah. I was like, whoa, wait. You can do that? You can do what they're doing? And then from there, it just was on to the next and heavier until I was like, okay, I feel at home.
So I can't remember if it was your Instagram or your Twitter page or X or whatever the hell it's called now, but one of them said, I like to scream, so now I'm in a band. Something.
Oh yeah. Oh man, what did it say? It was like I yell so I yell so much I got put in a band or something.
I think that's what it is. Yeah. I feel like you have to change that though, because now all of a sudden you're not yelling anymore. I mean, you're doing other things in the band now.
Yeah. Trying to push the limits and the boundaries of what I Prevail sound is. Whether that's like bringing some new metal influence of like rapping or electronic influence, or even with vocals like sing a little bit, or trying new. All these people that are listening that don't really know metal and scream, they're going to be like, wait, there's more than just one? But like trying different techniques of like harsh vocals, it's more than just one path with it. So I think trying to push the boundaries of what I Prevail sound is early in our career set us up to be able to do, so many different things where, it's not 5 records later and we're trying something new for the first time and our fans are like, whoa, pump the brakes. Like, what are you doing? I feel alienated. I think it was very important for us to do right off the rip. Every record we tried something a little different,
Well, and I'll go back to Bad Things. That's my personal favorite. I mean, that's where, hearing you do your part in that, I'll be honest, at first I'm just like, what's happening? And then I brought up the video, I'm like, oh, damn, Eric's, okay, this is good. I love the mashup of how you're doing your thing, and it comes in, and it's just like, this is a cool mix of that. So, like you said, changing it, pushing it, because, I mean, you could do whatever, hey, this worked, let's do it again and again and again.
Exactly.
But you're going to get bored with that.
Absolutely. And then I feel like, you could have the potential of fans growing out of it, or maybe it's not their thing, 10 years later, and then you're kind of just stuck doing something that you don't feel true to yourself doing, or maybe your fans start seeing through it. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem fun, and I want to keep. We're always having fun. 10 years into it, we're still having fun writing and creating, and I think that's the most important thing. I think people see through that when a band can just go up there and go, all right, we got to do this because this is what pushes the cart along. And nah, man, we just we write something and we're like, yo, that's sick. That's sick. And then 6 months later, we're like, listen to the demos again. We're like, okay, yeah, that's still sick. All right, cool, let's keep moving with it.
That's the real test, right?
Yeah, exactly.
6 months later, not between now and whenever on the tour bus, be like, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And that's I think true power really shine because shine.
Shining.
Why it did its thing is because when the world shut down, we had nothing, no touring, nothing. We didn't know when we were going to go back on the road. We had 2 years to write this record, and we would start something, and early on we're like, oh, let's just do some weird stuff. And some of that stuff ended up being like the outro to Self-Destruction, and just F What You Think You Know, and those songs really thrived because we got to try something weird and live with it for a few weeks, and then go back and visit it, rather than go, okay, we got it done 2 weeks later, now we got to wrap it up, we got to get it on the record and go. It got time to live and breathe and become what it is now.
So when you're out on tour like this, are you spending time on the bus working on new stuff, or are you guys decompressing on the bus?
It kind of depends. Some days where it's like, especially early in the tour, now we got our feet under us and feeling good, back in the groove, swing of things. Every now and then, someone will have an idea that they want to get down, or Steve will have a guitar riff or something like that, or I'm feeling a vibe that I want to try and put down. Off day, hotel room, back of the bus for a little bit, but there's no, at least not as of yet, there's no like serious intent to like, all right, we got to write, we got to put these things together. But it's fun to just not have any guidelines or structure, and just being like, let's just jam something today and see what comes of it, and just live with it through the tour and the next tour. And then when we finally have time to sit at home, it's like, hey, let's go revisit that demo we wrote on, a year ago, and let's see if we can make that something.
Right. Sure. I mean, because I'm sitting here asking about like future music, but I mean, Deep End was just on the charts and did great, and I'm like, hey, what's next? Us radio guys are always like, what's next?
Oh yeah, we're used to it.
But I should ask, I mean, are you planning to what's next, or are you just right now just touring, loving what you're doing?
I think if we weren't planning what's next to a certain degree, we would not be doing our jobs. Obviously we got tours and international tours and stuff coming up, and we got some downtime in the winter, and then the rest of the year is almost pretty much planned out. So to plan things ahead, just to make sure the cart's still on the track, and being creative and flexing that muscle and thinking like, what's next? I think all of that's important. It is important to sit back and just enjoy the ride and enjoy where we're at right now. But at the same time, I think it's also important to keep those muscles flex. Keep getting reps in, working on something. It's kind of like being an athlete in some regards. You got to flex that brain, that creative part of your brain every now and then. And I think that's very important. So that's do that a little bit, and then go get drinking whiskey and chilling on the back of the bus later. Yeah.
A couple more things, and I'll let you get going.
Yeah, for sure.
So you like to go back and just give random facts to the drummer. Do you plan them ahead of time, or is it just moments before going on stage, look up something on Google?
In the beginning, it was Gabe had his cameras. He's got a Drum Beats online. This is business. He's got a drum school online, obviously, and he had his camera set up to do some playthroughs. And I was like, I know he's got his in-ears, so he can't hear anything I'm saying, but his camera's rolling. So I thought it'd be funny if I just go up and yell something at him, and he won't know what it is until later when he's editing.
Sure.
And then he put together that first video. Then from then, anytime I see or hear like a ridiculous fact or something, I'll put in my notepad, and then every now and then when I know he's filming, I'll brush up on the fact and go yell at him during the set.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, if he's filming tonight, you want to throw a Quad Cities fact at him.
Yeah.
You can throw that Walt Disney actually once applied for a job here
and
was turned down.
Oh, really?
So I don't remember the name of the company, but if the company would have hired Walt Disney, Walt Disney
No
World never
Disney World.
existed.
Wow.
No, Disney would have never existed, but somebody in the Quad Cities like, nah, you're not good enough, man.
No. They saw that he had something better. You know, yeah.
They saw what was going to happen. Last thing, so I think the way a lot of people, and especially me, discovered you guys was Blank Space.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was the one for me that I was like, what is this, and why is this the greatest thing I've ever heard? It was just one of those things. I'm like, took something so light and innocent and poppy and just made it what I felt. And I'm like, this is great. When you still get people coming up to you today and going like, man, I discovered you off of that, you go, oh God, I've done so much since then? Or do you go, man, that's awesome. I'm glad that still lives on as one of our cores.
It's depends. I feel like if someone comes up like, man, I've been listening since this, it's like, wow, you've been here taking the ride with us. That's awesome. But when sit down, that's all you got to talk about. It's like, man, you know, we put out a few records before. I've been to Australia. I've been all over the world. We got 2 Grammy noms on other things. Like, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah. But
that's why I think it's nice to hear when someone's like, hey, I just want to say, like, I've heard this song and I've been here this whole ride. That's cool. It's like, damn, you really been listening to us for 9 years. That's awesome. It's a huge compliment to us.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Carrie Underwood as a fan. You got fans everywhere doing all sorts of things, man.
Life's wild, man. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. And like you said, enjoy the ride, right?
Yes.
Yeah, whether it's Carrie or some guy like me saying that's how I discovered you. Whatever. Enjoy it all, bro.
I appreciate that, man.
No, love what you guys are doing and looking forward to seeing you tonight and appreciate you taking some time,
Thank you. Of course, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, appreciate it.